You know, you hear a lot of people on social media or in other circles or wherever, but you hear a lot of it about, no one's going to get sober unless they want to get sober. I had the want for a long time. I really didn't want to live the way I was living. I really didn't want to be putting my family through what I was putting them through. But what I lacked and what was needed was the willingness to want to change. And when you really look at my life, and I look back on my life, why in the world would I have had the willingness to change if my family was always there to throw that mattress underneath my fall and to protect me from the consequences of my actions? And as long as they were doing that, I wasn't going to change. I lacked the willingness. I had the want, but I lacked the willingness. So when you think about it, interventions aren't about getting someone to want to get sober. The want's more than likely been there for a long time. The intervention is about creating the willingness for them to want to do something about the want. And it's about the family not saying ultimatums, you need to do this or else, or you should do this, or you need to do that, or why don't you want to do this? An intervention is really about the family saying, hey, you know what? We know there's an issue, and we know because we know you that you really don't want to be living this way. But we know for a fact that we don't want to be living this way, and we will no longer live this way. We will no longer rob you of the consequences that you may need to create the desperation that will in turn create the willingness for you to want to change your life. You never have to be mean. You never have to be nasty about it. You never have to be unkind and unloving. And as for my story, I was intervened on, and I wasn't happy about it. I wasn't happy about any of it. I was angry at my family. I was angry at everything. Mostly that was projected anger that I really felt towards myself. I was full of shame. I was full of guilt and all the things that I'd done and had continued to do. And I woke up the morning of my intervention, not knowing that I was going to be facing an intervention. I woke up just as I had done, pain and misery, desperation, despair, with, as usual, a firm resolution not to go out and do drugs. But that resolution was typically to no avail, because I'd find some reason, some justification as to why it was okay for me to just go out and do a 20. Which I never had an experience that showed me that I could just go out and do $20 worth of cocaine. But my mind could tell me that I could every single time. Same thing with opiates. I never had an experience that showed me that I could take a bottle of pills and ration them out to myself over an extended period of time. I'd always say, well, I'll take this many this day and take that many the next day, and this will last me this amount of time, or I'll wean myself off myself and detox myself. I never had an experience that showed me that I could do that. But my head sure would tell me I could, and I would buy the lie that my head was telling me every single time. I had an experience that showed me one thing, but my head would tell me another, and I'd buy the lie that my head told me. I couldn't get out of my own way. My family kept waiting for me to wake up one day and make a good decision, which I was incapable of doing, because the most insane decision that I made stone cold sober. And that insane decision was, in a stone cold sober state of mind, my insanity showed up. I made the decision to get more. And I did that sober. So I had to be fired from the decision making wherever possible. My family had a lot of power that they didn't realize that they had. They kept enabling me, keeping me off that bottom, trying to fix me and manage me and just keep me safe and, keep me in the lives of my kids, which I really didn't deserve to be. They said, you know what, we're done. We're not going to rob this guy of an experience that he may need to have. We're no longer going to enable his bad behavior. In fact, we're going to be honest and not hold secrets with the probation officer or anyone else in his life. We're not going to allow him to keep us in different compartments. We're all going to come together and say, this is where we are going as a family moving forward. But they offered me a solution. And because I didn't want to go to prison, I took their solution. I took their offer of going to help. And I was angry and I hated it. And I was mad at them. I didn't think I needed it. I didn't think that was the right thing for me, which really I didn't know what the hell was the right thing for me. But after a couple of months, I started to level off. Started getting engaged into the work that it was necessary for me to want to rebuild my internal constitution that I live my life by. Here I am today, a free man. Thank God my family did what they did.